I'm Bill Mellard, Artistic Managing Director here at the Arts Club Theatre Company, and I've been very fortunate to be Artistic Director since, well, for 40 years, 40 plus years. I also direct some of the shows, and it's a great privilege to be in this position. I think we've been really fortunate, at least I've been very fortunate, being involved in the Arts Club as it's changed and evolved and grown over the years. When I got started at the Seymour Street Arts Club, it's a 200-seat intimate space in an old gospel hall, wonderful space, very conducive to the experience of theatre because you were so close. But then we were given the opportunity to convert a warehouse in Granville Island, which we opened in 1979, and then shortly thereafter, the small review stage next door, which was in some ways copying what the Seymour Street experience was, because we lost that wonderful space. And I guess the greatest evolution of the company was the addition of the Stanley Theatre in 1998, and that was not necessarily something that I, that I went out and said we have to have a bigger theater or something. It was just something that evolved, the way the company has evolved. And I must say the production staff and our office staff, development, marketing, whatever, embraced this change in a way that, had I foreseen it, may not have forced on them, because it was such a monumental change for the company. It doubled the size of the budget. It really refocused the way we operated. I think there's many things about the 50th anniversary excites me. Certainly the production of Helen Lawrence, Stan Douglas's and Chris Haddock's idea of putting a certain kind of 3D, if that's a way to describe it, on stage. It is thrilling to me because it's something that hasn't been done before. It's a premiere of a piece that Chris Haddock wrote based on an idea of Stan Douglas, who's a wonderful visual artist. And so we're taking the worlds of television, where Chris Haddock comes from, the visual artwork, photography, which is Stan Douglas's world, and of course live theater, and putting it all together. And I think that really excites me. But overall, it's a sense of the company looking back with some of the plays we're doing. It's Snowing on Salt Spring, Odd Couple, Red Rock Diner, that Driving Miss Daisy, and also then looking forward with some of the premieres, including Helen Lawrence and Armstrong's War, and other plays, and being able to not necessarily contemplate on the past, but use the past to project what the future might be, because 50 years is one milestone, but clearly we want to make sure the company survives for at least another 50, if not longer. And even thinking ahead, what would 50 years in the future be like for theater? And since 50 years ago, live theater was a certain form, today we see that although there are many, many different ways of doing theater on the stage, it still is a live theater experience. Well, I really wish I was there at the beginning, although I was in university, so wasn't really aware of when it started in 1964, because I never met Yvonne Firkins. And to have a conversation, you have those sort of time travel things where you have conversations with people from the past. Would have been great to sit down and talk to Yvonne and say, did you think this company would change in the way that it has changed? Because she had been inspired by theatre in the round that she saw when she traveled to England, which was a form of theatre where the actors are in the center and the chairs are around them. And that was really her inspiration. And the kinds of plays she did as well. She didn't just do comedies or whatever, even though there was no public funding, there was no donors, there was nothing like that. It was all dependent on ticket sales. And the bar, the Arts Club, started as a private bar. So what it really means to me is that I carried on her legacy, that she always wanted to be professional right from the beginning, even though the only other professional theatre company existing at that time was the Playhouse, and she had a vision. And the fact that that vision has carried on for 50 years, I think, is remarkable. And I'm really proud in a way that that I was there to make sure it happened. Oh, there are a lot of memories, of course, over this time. I suppose I would isolate the openings of the various theaters, the first night at the Stanley when Swing premiered, or the first night at Granville Island, or of course experiences, when you direct your first show, for instance, or certain performances that stick in your mind. I don't think I couldn't isolate one and say that's my favorite memory. Some are mishaps where you think that's a bad memory, but it clearly sticks in your mind because it was so vivid. And I just think, if I was forced to look back, and I don't like doing that a lot, I would think about the people that I worked with and some of the actors that I've been honored to be able to direct or help change their careers, for instance, and working with people over a length of time, which is really wonderful to see somebody who comes to us fresh out of school and then develops in a way that's mysterious or unpredictable, and yet that I could be there seeing that happen, I think is a great joy. I think the role of theater in our society is many-fold. First of all, I think it's a social function. It brings people together. It's a live experience, and it's something where you connect the actors and what's happening on stage with the audience in a very real-time experience, which you don't really always get in some of the other media. And I think it can be transformative because you are in an audience situation, experiencing something that is live and immediate. It can transform you in a way that I think is very different from, let's say, reading or other cultural activities, because the actor through the playwright's words is speaking to you directly, and whatever is being said, particularly if it's an issue that needs to be discussed, you are right there, not being lectured, because it isn't a lecture and you can ignore what is being said, but it's very rare that you wouldn't be moved if it's something that has that kind of emotion to it. I think what I love about theater is that I'm never bored. It's not, people ask me, well, didn't you think of leaving or whatever? And at one point early on in my time, yes, because I didn't see how I could support myself and other people that were working for us in a 200-seat theater. It just didn't seem realistic, and if one wanted to raise a family or whatever. And so that was one thing that propelled me to evolve the company and let it grow and expand or whatever. But for me personally, I really think it is the fact that I have amazing talent to work with. And as I say, it's always different. It's never boring. Live theater, by definition, changes, even if it's only imperceptible, from one performance to another because the audience is different. They may react in a different way. And also there's so much variety out there with what playwrights are producing and writing, what they bring to us. And then the people, really it's a people business, and so working with these people, they inspire me, our amazing production staff and what they create. It is, that's what keeps you going. I mean, it's just that constant infusion of talent and energy that really buoys me along.